and welcome to this month's Crochet and Chat. Lovely to have you here if you pop in live, and hello if you see the replay. But I am Siona from the Hooked on Crochet Club, and I am your crochet mentor because we all know that crochet is more than just a hobby, and I am here to help you get more out of your crochet. And I go live every month so that we can talk about the month that was and the month that will be, what we've got on our plate, exciting new things coming up. It's a new month, so our Clubhouse members have new projects to do, which I will introduce you to. I have my coffee in my favorite cup because it's got a rainbow and it says choose joy on the inside. And I've been for a walk because the sun came out. We've had a extremely wet and wild week this week, very cold, very stormy, and the sun was out. So I thought, well, I can't not take advantage of that and go for a walk. And there was beautiful rainbows all through the walk. So I'm energized, which is awesome. So we're here. Got so many things in front of me. I'm like surrounded. Hopefully I remember them all. And a big shout out to my dad, who is turning 75 today. Happy birthday. I will call later. My mother is currently in hospital. She had a second knee replacement, so quick recoveries to her. I know my sister is going down to see them, so yeah, I hope everything goes well there. All right, so let me see what we got this month. There's always a new square this month. This month we are working into the theme of rounds, so everything is about the rounds. So our cute little projects, they're smaller than normal. I sometimes make smaller ones when I'm getting them tangled, because we do end up with a lot of whips on our plate, don't we? And I am about to tie these two bags into a knot together. So hello everyone. So this one, we've got these. So Clubhouse members have seen these, and you may have seen the post from the start of the week. This one actually goes with today's outfit, so how cool is that? I might have to go for another little walk later just so I can use that. So these are cute little purses. This one I've joined together with a little magnetic clasp, and I know Lorraine from the Clubhouse has already made this one and the bigger one, and she crocheted the straps, which I gave a lesson in our Hook and Learn on Wednesday for how to make different straps and different things to consider when making them, the different yarns and the different ways you can create one. So these cute little bags, this one's made with a mercerized cotton and this one just with a normal everyday cotton. Both are 4-ply, so they're nice and cute and little. Looking forward to using those. And you don't even have to use them as a bag. You could leave the strap off. You can use them as a coin bag, for in your pocket, mask bag, since we all seem to have to carry those around nowadays. So yeah, lots of little use for that one. So that's project one. So for those that are just starting out in crochet, or they're not sure, they're not worked in the rounds very often, they just want to have a go, maybe it's got new stitches, it's an opportunity with a pre-recorded video to learn and get comfortable with that before moving on to the bigger one. So this one I've got with a leather strap that I actually had for a kit for something else. And again, goes with my outfit. I'm going to get lots of use out of this one. Again, with a magnetic clasp. You could line it. I haven't, but it can be lined as well so that it's less holey. And if you don't want a bag, you could even use it as a pot holder or place, what are those thingies? Placemat kind of thingies. Doilies. Just use a different yarn. So this one I've made with a cotton that was a worsted weight, I think 5mm hook I've used on that one, so it's a little bit chunkier and thicker. As I said, the strap I had for another kit that I bought years ago and clearly haven't used, so put it to use in something else. But yeah, so with all the Clubhouse patterns, there is always a way to change them up to be something more that you like, which is what I encourage. I don't like people being stuck with having to make what I made just because that's what the pattern says. I encourage you always to create your own thing, and I'm sure some of our Clubhouse members will. And then we have the square. So you might remember this square. I have made top or two from this, a blanket. I've made it all in one colour. So what I've done is we've switched it. So it's now the other way around. And can you imagine them together now in a blanket or a cushion or something else? So they just continue on. You're going to have like a never-ending little pattern. So that's this month's square, just a reverse of which rows are a filet and which ones aren't. But go very nicely with that one. So I'm looking forward to playing around with that one a lot as well. So hopefully our members will get some fun out of that. And I'll be live in our third week, as I always am, to give a live tutorial with that, with how to read the chart, so that we can learn to read patterns. Now, let me just take a sip of my coffee. What else have we got? Oh, the last month, let's cover that a little bit. So I covered, we had a scavenger hunt last month, because in June we welcomed new members. So July we had a scavenger hunt so that everyone could get familiar with how the Clubhouse works, where things are. Find me on Instagram. So there were 3 lucky winners who are getting one of these each, and some lovely stitch markers that are Save the Hook ones that one of our members made and sent to me as a way to say thank you and to give back. So Heidi, thank you. That will be going out. So I've got one of these myself, or 2 now, because I bought an extra one so I could make something with one and still have one to look at, because we need our pretty yarn to play with and look at, don't we? So this is our Clubhouse colours, and it was our 3-year anniversary. Happy birthday to the Hooked on Crochet Club. So we've got 3 winners that won one of these each, and they're about to be in the post this afternoon. If the weather stays nice, I'll walk over to the post box, otherwise I will drive. We shall see. But excited. I need to start playing with my one, which I have been playing with the bobble box. I have got a second bobble box, which is behind me somewhere, but my first one, if you've been watching my square a day, I do it mostly weekdays now. I haven't been making too many on the weekends, but I have all these little squares, and I have, what do I have to go? 9 left to make, because last weekend or the weekend before I sat down and decided on a layout, and well, haven't decided on the pattern for the layout for the squares themselves as far as which colour water, but I have decided they're going to be a top with a square neck and little cap sleeves. So watch this space. I have 9 more to make, and I will start joining once I work out then the colour combo, and I take a photo and decide from there. But these are all, if you see it up close, they're a 4 round solid granny, which was one of our early squares in the Clubhouse, probably one you've seen around anyway. And it's a 4-ply. Lola as my bobble box, which you can see I'm going to have lots of yarn. I'm thinking when I join it that I'm going to join them with single crochet, and I'm going to join in the rows and the columns, and I'm going to work my way through. I have had thoughts of joining with white, but I'm actually thinking that I'm going to join with the colours and take turns which colour I join with, so there's like an extra lot of colour going on. So we'll see how that turns out. And then I'll put some neckline and some bands on it. So excited to see how this one goes. And then of course my other square eggs, I've been making 2 at the moment, mostly because I really wanted to work on that one, and also because I still had that Tetris blanket yarn stash to use up, which is all the bright colours that I don't normally use. So all these circle to squares you've been seeing. So I've got 8 left of these to make. I think I said I've got 2, what have I got? 2 orange and the rest in grey. Someone else can do the math. 6 grey left to make. And this is the layout we've decided on. So I laid out, it was in my stories a couple of weeks ago as well. I laid out all the squares in different combinations, put up in the stories, and checked with my son who's going to receive this blanket, and decided on this. So it's kind of, because I didn't work with a pattern to start with, I decided on just use up the stash, see what I had, and go from there. So we're going with kind of a ombre rainbow going in from the corners, and I'll have the grey and the orange. So I've still got lots of grey and orange left, so I may end up making a beanie or something with what's left, or a few beanies. But I'm going to have a lot of yarn left still. They're still black. So hopefully, and I have started joining. A bit messy, but you can see I have started joining. I haven't done much in the way of joining because I haven't had a lot of time for all that, but they're looking pretty cool together. That's my first time. I'm liking with the black background. I wouldn't work with black too often. It's not a fun colour unless you've got lots of awesome light. It's not the best to play with. But anyway, so then that also means I've got like, what, 10 days? Unless I start making some of the squares more than one a day left before I start another square a day project. So I have to think what yarn I want to use up, because it's usually a yarn stash. I've got lots in this. I've got lots and lots to use up. All right, washcloths. So this one was on the blog last month, texture, and this one will be on the blog this week, and it's actually in the stores already. So this one, very simple design, all with basic stitches, but the idea with this one, we're working in the rounds, so it's practice for those of you who don't work in the rounds very often. All basic stitches and mostly working into chain spaces because that's what we prefer. Not every round, every second round is. But it's a great opportunity to play around with different colours because there are it's a 2-round repeat. So there's 2 different patterns for the round, so you could play around. So there's a small one, you can't really see so well, but there's a small one that's single crochet and chains, and then one that's solid, so you can play around with. I've done the repeats in the color, but you could switch it up and have every second row instead of every third switching. Lots and lots of ways to play around with that one. Quick and easy one to make up as well, and a great way to use up any leftover washcloth stash that you might have that you haven't used yet. So lots of fun. So that one will be on the blog this week, though it is in my stores already. And if you're a member, it will come to your inbox next weekend as well. So yay for that one. And I've got some yarn that I'm going to try here. So every month in the Clubhouse, I do yarn reviews. And I'm going to do, that's what I use for this. This bag here, I use the Sheepy's Mighty. Lovely yarn. It's a, what is that? Jute and cotton. And I'm probably butchering all the pronunciation of the words except for cotton. I can say that one. It's actually really soft, but it's perfect for bags and hats. And I'd even use it on a blanket as well, actually. Nice, hard-wearing cotton. I expect that one to be. Cushions, that would be awesome. So I'm doing a yarn review on that one. So all our members have access to see, you know, they can see side by side what all these yarns are when they're making a choice. But Heidi, who made the stitch markers, also sent me some yarn to play with. So nice and soft. So I'm looking forward to playing this. So this one's a cotton and milk fibre, which is a fancy way of saying a acrylic. It's made with milk, literally. I googled it once because I had another yarn that was milk cotton. I'm like, what is that? And this one that she sent, that is just cotton, literally just cotton. So I'm going to play around with those. That one looks finer, so we'll see what they're like to play with, and I'll do yarn reviews on those as well. Maybe for next month, we'll see how quickly I get to playing with things, because I've got lots of that I'm still making. All right, this one's sitting in front of me. How's this for accountability? I still have to make this one. I have this much yarn left. I am going to be in an online conference on Wednesday for her business live, sitting there learning. So this one might be what I'm doing in the background just to finish it off, because this is my spring something or other. I forget what it's called, but I've been making this one because it's a 2-ply. I think I'm using a 2mm hook, so it's taken a while. But turning it into an infinity scarf, I've been working on that on and off for a few months every now and then. So that one I need to be accountable for finishing. So maybe next month when I'm live, I can show you that I did finish it. Granny Square. This one, how cute is it? Was on the blog this week. It's like an extra little pocket. So if you want to need like a pocket, I don't like to use my pockets. I don't know about you, but it just makes things out of shape and heavy and weird. So a little extra pocket that you can carry, put on your wrist if you want it out of the way. Very handy. So I'll be showing Clubhouse members this week how I made it. It is all of it with Clubhouse squares and using leftover Knit Picks Dishy yarn that I've been using for my washcloths. So happy to play around with that one. But I'll be showing members how to make that. And another one that I've got that I'm making for next month, I won't tell you what it's going to be, but how cute is this little square? And it's actually sparked me. So this is using up my old temperature blanket from previous years. I've got some pastel stash there. I think it was last year's. For the maximum colours I used the flowers. I don't remember. So this cute little square. So it's a 4-ply, so it's extra little, and I've only done the one round to get it square, and I'll join it after that once I've got all the squares that I'm going to make. So I won't tell you what I'm going to make it into, but I am thinking that next year for my temperature blankets, because I've been itching to go back to doing just one temperature. So my first blanket I made was just my maximums, but I enjoy seeing the minimums as well. So what I am thinking, and it's probably a crazy thought, is doing 2 blankets next year, one for minimum, one for maximum, using this as the little square. And I went online to Hobby, which is what the 8/4 cotton is what I use for my temperature blankets. That's what this one is. And I may have filled my cart with a bunch of brown greys, so I'm thinking ombre next year. So brown greys for one, maybe the minimums, and sort of blue greens ombre style for the maximums. So they're all in my cart. I'm still thinking on it. We will decide if that's what happens. But crazy it is, I am actually thinking 2 blankets next year. And how adorable would that be as a full blanket just of, for my temperature blanket, ombre. I'm looking forward to it. So we will see. I might even design a different square altogether that I will use. So between now and December, my mind might change a dozen times, but I feel fairly confident that that's where it's going to be. So we shall see. Watch this space. There's still time to plan for my temperature blanket, but I will be continuing. I'm just going to have to find more time to make it, I guess, if I'm going to do 2 squares and 2 blankets. Because this is quite manageable. Each square takes me, 10 minutes if I'm paying attention. Sometimes it can take me an hour because I get distracted every 2 seconds. But for the most part, that's it. But anyway, I think I have covered everything that is on my little list here. Oh, tutorials. So last month, the tutorial was the front post treble because our project in the Clubhouse was cables. Do I have the... Oh, I do. So we did cables last month. So I did front post treble as a tutorial, so that's on there, and I'm thinking that this month will be a slip stitch. I know, simple, but when I did the square a day challenge last, people were asking for a tutorial for a slip stitch, and I hadn't even thought that people would need one, so I'm going to do that because it is probably one of those stitches that we're never probably entirely sure of what we're doing when we first start out. So I will do a slip stitch because I use it a lot for joining squares as well. So yeah, so now I think I definitely have covered everything, and we're starting to work into the warmer. Hopefully it starts to get warm. We've had a very good dose of winter this last week with all the storms and it's very windy, very wet. Perth, I think it's the first time ever I have seen our pool at its maximum level, and we've got an overflow thing. I don't think it's ever had to be used. I could be wrong, but there was a lot of rain this week for Perth, which is unusual for us. We just don't rain. But the sun is out, so I might enjoy a bit more sunshine. I've got lots of things to do in my little room here today, which is always my favourite place to be for a weekend. And that's it. So looking forward to it. And the doors to the Clubhouse do open again in October, but there might be a little waitlist offering if you're on the waitlist. So if you are keen to get involved, have someone that can be your crochet mentor, which is me, and love that crochet is more than just a hobby, because it's a therapy for us. Let's get our creative side out. We get to play and have fun and enjoy the company of others. But waitlist, add your name. Anyway, I will be back next month, always the first Saturday of the month, unless I have to reschedule, which I don't so far. I'm pretty consistent with what I do, and I will see you in another month. Alrighty, bye.